writing down every word you said, just to watch them go to flames. Tried to break down my confidence where your bullets ricochet. Oh, you hit me.
If you could do anything different in the early stages of your military career, what would it be? Before I left my first duty station, that's when I kind of, for those few months, that's when I worried about promotion and becoming an E5. What I would have done differently, now thinking about it, is that I would have worked harder and earlier on getting my E5, because I didn't realize how easy it was until I actually looked more into it. And me actually putting my mind to it made me get promoted by the time I wanted to get promoted. But I wish I could have done it earlier, and I wish I knew more about the process. But again, that was my fault because I didn't really look into it. That's what I would do differently, is just getting promoted earlier and doing more school when I was in my last duty station. What do you think about buying a car with your bonus? If you want to buy a car with your bonus, go for it. Once I got to my first duty station, I bought a car right away. I bought my Jeep right away, and it did me good. Do you like being in the military better than being a civilian? Yes, I like being in the military more than I like being a civilian. It's just completely different mentality, different how people approach everything. I just like it because when I go on leave, I realize how different the world is when I'm active duty, working every day with military personnel, and then when I go on leave and see how everything is in the civilian side. Not saying anything bad about civilians, it's just a whole different game, and I just like being in the military better, and it has taught me to grow up faster, to take responsibility of my own stuff, and to not just be a kid and not just be a young adult and use that as an excuse to be immature. So being the age that I am, and you know, even 2 years ago, I was very mature for my age. I would have not changed anything in that way. So yes, I like being in the military more. What advice would you give a 14-year-old young lady preparing to join the military? Her mind's already set. I want to be supportive with her and achieve her goals. If I was 14 years old and I was thinking about joining the military and I met myself, you know, as a 14-year-old girl, I would have told myself, think about the whole page. Do I want to be enlisted, or do I want to go officer? And if I do want to go officer, this is what you can do. I would have been working on myself physically, so more running at least, and I would have told myself to do a little bit more college, get a degree, and go officer side. That's just how I am. But I'm really glad that I'm enlisted side right now because it's a whole different game. I would have told my 14-year-old self to look more into the military and decide, you know, early on a job and think about my options. Can you explain your MOS and duties in that job? My MOS is 74 Delta as well, and I'm wondering what I will be doing or what I can do. Any tips? Okay. So on the description bottom below, there'll be a link to choosing your military job. So you can click that, and those are like 10 steps to figure out what kind of jobs you want to do in the military. For my MOS, it's honestly, again, depending on which duty station you go to. My last duty station, for a few months, I did do a little bit Seaburn stuff, and then I did combatives for about a year or two instructing, and then a few months before I left, in order to get promoted and all that, I did a little bit of paperwork stuff. And then now, once I moved to my next duty station, it was about like 5 months of all I did was Seaburn and teach basic combat trainings, Seaburn stuff, and then do the gas chamber and all that things. And then now I'm doing DSOC, which is Drill Sergeant Certification Team, and I only do a little bit of chemical stuff, but not as much as I would be doing in a chemical unit. So it's, again, very different duty stations that you do go to, and they'll tell you what to do there. Is there any way we can see Staff Sergeant Hill in action with the new enlistees? You will not be able to see Drill Sergeant Hill with the new enlistees unless I'm only there just for a video, and that is it. But anytime I am with her and her battery, it's when they need help or need extra hands, and I'm there doing complete work. So it'll be a rare occasion where you do see a video of her working with enlistees, but that's just how it is. And I do have my own job. I do have my own things that I need to do. So going to her battery and helping her out is, again, a rare occasion as well. Are you allowed to drink water on a PFT run? Yes. when you're doing a run for PT, you are allowed to go ahead and drink water, but you have to bring that water with you, like Camelback. That's pretty much it. Having your Camelback on you and drinking water as you go. But for me, I don't drink water while I go on my PFT run, mainly because if I drink too much water, or in general, if you drink too much water while you're running, you do cramp up, and I say you should just hydrate the night before or the day before, drink water before you go on a run, and then drink water after. That's just how I would roll. What has been your experience with platoon leaders, if any, that you have? With my platoon leaders, with my LTs, I don't have to interact with them here. At my last duty station, I didn't really have to interact with them as well, except for the last few months, having to work under First Sergeant and my XO and the commander. But I don't know. I don't really have much to say to that. So yeah, that's the answer. Okay, I enlisted today, and I wanted to know was basic hard for you, and where did you go for basic combat training? I went to basic combat training in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Honestly, from what I remember, it wasn't that hard. The only reason why people say basic combat training is hard is because they're probably in it. But it's just only 10 weeks, and the most difficult part of it was, I can't even think of the most difficult part of it, but yeah, it wasn't hard. I mean, most part of it was just fun. One thing is just I never had my phone. They never gave us our phone unless once we graduated, they gave us our phone. Even on family, they took it back from us. But on graduation, they gave us our phone, and I thought it was kind of good because I didn't have to worry about things or drama that was happening at home, and I got to focus on training. And it was, in my whole mentality of it was to embrace the suck, and you're pretty much getting paid to do PT all the time, and it was great training, and I love doing training like that. So it wasn't hard, and I just remember, when you're going through the suckiness, remember all your battle buddies are going through it with you, and to not give up on yourself, because you will regret it. And after those 10 weeks of graduating and grinding and doing everything, and being able to call yourself a United States Army soldier, it's one of the best feelings you will ever feel, and there's no way I could explain it to you guys unless you actually go through it.